Moving to Japan, knowing what I know now, would I do it all over again? Let's talk about that. So let's talk about some of the things that change when you move overseas. So my social life definitely changed. I still have two really close friends from my college years. You know who you are. And the funny thing is, we still see each other just as much as we did when I lived in the States. So, you graduate college, you move away, you get jobs, careers, families, things like that. So we still see each other just as much as we did when I lived in the States. Now, I made new friends here in Japan through work and through content creation. So it's difficult to test, though. And you'll probably find out this is the truth on anything I discuss in this video. It's difficult to run an A/B test. So I can't go back to when I was 21 and say, run two separate lives and say, okay, this life is better or this life is better. But I'll come to some conclusions later, and we'll talk about that younger self too. But has moving to Japan improved or hurt my social life? I don't think it's made a difference. Really, I've never been the type of person who has a ton of friends. In junior high, high school, I had like one close friend. College, I had two close friends. And so I don't think really that's changed a whole lot by moving to Japan. Also, we moved around when I was a child, so I don't really have a place that I would call a hometown. When I go back to the States, there's really no place that I go to that, I need to go there to feel like I'm home. Seeing my family, that's what makes me feel like I'm home. Health-wise, oh boy. My health is a heck of a lot better by moving to Japan. I've told the story before. I had a suit that I brought over that first trip back in 2014. And I started walking everywhere when I got here. So in LA, I was used to driving a car everywhere. We would order lunch, or we'd go out and grab lunch, and we'd sit at our desks, a sandwich in one hand, a mouse in the other hand, and you'd be working through lunch and through dinner. And of course, when you're tired and stressed out, you don't make the best decisions. So I was not in the best health when I came back here in 2014. So I took this suit to the dry cleaner, and a week or two later, I went back to get it, and it was the same color, but I thought, I think you guys gave me the wrong suit. It was like 2 sizes too big. So already within a couple weeks, my health had changed. And that summer, I lost like maybe 50, 60 pounds. And so my health definitely had a dramatic improvement by coming back to Japan. And it's not just the food or all that. It's not just the food. Sure, portions are smaller. I think, this is just my opinion, but I think some of the food is healthier in Japan. Sure, you can get junk food. Sure, you can get stuff that's not good for you. But I think by starting over, I just started a pattern of healthier decisions. Oh, I think I'm walking into a dead end here, so we're going to go this way. I'm in Kokubunji today, by the way. I'll put this up on the map. I'm in Kokubunji today. I'm filming a documentary for a friend, and make sure you guys get access to that later. But I don't really come here that often, but I walked from the station to the place where I'm filming the documentary, and now I'm walking back, and I think I remember how to get back, so I may get lost as we're going, but that's part of living in a foreign country, is sometimes you get lost. But my health is a heck of a lot better. One reason is I walk a lot in Japan. And when I say Japan, really I mean Tokyo. I walk a lot. 10,000 steps is not a big deal on a regular day in Japan. As I go to work in the morning, it's about a 10-minute walk to the station. My office is across the street from the station, so that's doesn't even register on my watch. But another 10-minute walk from my station to home, and usually during the day go outside, take a walk. So I'm always walking. Like I said, 10,000 steps is not a big deal in Tokyo. A weekend is usually about 20,000 steps. So that's one way at my age I've been able to keep the weight off. Another way is going to CrossFit, and I'm still working on that documentary. Nick, I promise you, Cap, it's coming out. As far as health, what about mental health? Has Japan been good for my mental health? Well, maybe someday I'll talk more about this, but I was not in a good place when I lived in LA, the last stop before I moved back to Tokyo. Was not in a good place. So coming here gave me an opportunity to kind of reinvent myself. Started new habits, started, new friends, new work environment. So it's been a really good change, mental health wise. Also met somebody really amazing, so that's been good. So yeah, I think I would hopefully say that my mental health is a lot better. Also, I get to miss out on all the politics in the U.S. and whatever is happening. Gosh, just this week there was the Super Bowl and the Olympics, and people are squawking about that online. And I'm just thinking, well, I'm so glad I missed it all. So glad I missed it all. So, sure, it's all over social media, but I missed it. I don't have to sit around the water cooler at work or the coffee maker at work and talk about politics or, whatever's going on in the U.S. Sometimes I miss talking about it. I do read the headlines. I do watch a video here and there to kind of keep up on what's going on, but I don't spend a lot of time on it because that kind of stuff is not good for my mental health. I've rarely seen a person who spends a lot of time talking about politics who seems really super happy. That's just me. Well, I can say by learning Japanese and by having a career in law, it was a very good decision. By speaking and reading Japanese, I was able to have a better career than if I didn't speak and read Japanese. So, for sure, it's been a good move. Now, is that the same for everybody? Not necessarily. It used to be that you could get a job over in Japan, and when the exchange rate was much different, the yen used to be much higher than it is today. But some people would come over and they'd be able to save a lot of money. Some people were saving money and then they'd save enough to get a down payment or buy a house back home. But these days, there are not a lot of people doing that. The exchange rate is really bad compared especially to the US dollar. So coming to Japan, you don't come here to get rich, let's put it that way. Culturally, has coming to Japan been a good move culturally? Well, absolutely, I would say, because there's so much culture in Japan. It's such a deep and rich culture. There's so much to it. There's so much history. I always feel like I'm peeling back the layers of an onion and always learning something new. So yes, definitely, I would move back to Japan in that case. Knowing what I know now, how much I've learned. It's also taught me a lot about America too. It's funny because sometimes people ask, we know how World War II ended. Didn't end very well for the Japanese. And I was actually concerned when I came here, like, what do they think about Americans? And my friends and family back home would ask me, like, oh, do they hate Americans? Because of what we did at the end of World War II. The funny thing is, the most negative comments I get are from other foreigners. They have something to say about America. And I'm just one guy, I'm not here to answer your questions about America. And like I said, for the most part, I stay out of it. I stay out of politics. So I'm not the person to ask. But it is funny. I don't get any hate from Japanese for being American. But being an American in Japan, when you meet other foreigners, a lot of times they'll have something really colorful to say about America. So if that's you, I don't care. Go for it. Say whatever you like. That was interesting. As soon as I got past that construction site, it kind of quieted down. It was as if the cacophony of sound was there just for my video. But Japan's a place that'll never be finished. There's always something under construction. But culinary heaven, Japan has so many good restaurants, so many Michelin star restaurants, and the food is so good. And I've said in other videos, it's really hard to find a bad restaurant. There are a few places I've been to, I thought, I probably won't go back. But it wasn't so bad that I, that wanted to complain about it. Just like, well, that was subpar. That was not what I expect. Not as good as all the other places. One reason is people put so much effort into their craft and they take so much pride in what they do, but also they use fresh ingredients. I think I'm passing the Nogawa. And it's probably, in English, it's going to be the Nogawa River, but Gawa comes from Kawa, meaning river, so it's the No River. But there is a river. It's actually more like a little creek, but who's counting? As far as housing, last city I lived in America was Los Angeles, and housing there was very expensive. Housing in Japan is expensive. You might get something about on par with what you're paying in a city like Los Angeles and New York, you might get about the same size in Tokyo. I haven't run the numbers, so don't hold me to that. But I do find that housing here is expensive because it's a smaller place. Space is more limited. But people get used to it. Honestly, I've got used to a smaller place. I don't collect a lot of garbage. I don't collect a lot of stuff. I don't have a jet ski or a boat out in front of my place because there's no parking. I don't even have a car. So all that stuff, I'm not a pack rat. I can't be because there's no space to put stuff. So the digital age has worked out really well for me. All my music and my music is on my phone now, and all my movies are streaming. Don't have any DVDs or CDs or tapes. And books, read Kindle a lot. I do order some books. I do like the tactile feel of a paper book in my hand. But back to housing, though. Yeah, you can get safe, clean housing for a good price. My place is about 90,000 yen. I think last time I checked, that was about $500 a month. But it's a studio apartment, which means that my kitchen is not a kitchen. It's actually a burner and a sink in the hallway to the living room, which is also the dining room and the bedroom. It's all one room. So sure, you're not going to get as much bang for your buck. If you live in a rural place in America, you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck when it comes to housing. So hey, we've hit another dead end. We're just going to turn around. But I walked down this quiet street because it's, well, like I said, it's quiet. Now, as a content creator, I've admitted this many times, I wouldn't have half the audience I have if Tokyo were not the main character in my story. So I would just be talking about whatever else, and it's probably not that interesting. So as a content creator, Japan offers endless opportunities. I went to Osaka and filmed a video there. I've actually got another video about Osaka. First was the history of Osaka, next is a one-day trip to Osaka. So that should be coming out anytime. And I'll put a link in the description when I'm finished with it. But it offers me endless opportunities to create content for the internet. And photography, there are so many places. Japan is so photogenic. There are always new places to take photographs. So as far as being a content creator in Japan, honestly, I don't think I would have started this channel if I weren't in Japan in the first place. Somebody told me, I wanted to make a YouTube channel. They said, you should just talk about your experiences in Japan. I was like, yeah, I could do that. There are other people who live in Japan, like me, who see that and say, yeah, I think, I saw the same thing too. There are other people who used to live in Japan and who want to hear about Japan. Or there are people who are thinking of moving to Japan, and I think they enjoy hearing about this stuff. There are also people who've been here or live here, and they say, hey, your experience is totally different than mine, and that's true too. I readily admit that. My experience is probably totally different than your experience. And I want to hear in the comments your experience. Private life. Yeah. I don't talk about that very much, but I met her in Japan. She was sitting at a coffee shop reading a book, and I thought, that is the most attractive thing I've ever seen in my life. Somebody who's reading a book, because everybody in the same coffee shop had their face stuck in their phone. And I thought a woman who's reading a book, I just find intelligent women so attractive. So people ask me all the time, because see, when I grew up in the States, there was always a story in the neighborhood of a family who moved from overseas. And they came to America and they learned English and got a job, etc. And so there was always this misconception that because a woman is dating or married to an American, that they want to move to America. It's not so in every case. A lot of Japanese people love Japan. They're not even interested in moving to another country. First of all, they see in comparison how safe Japan is. And culturally, it's so amazing, and the food is so healthy, and things run on time. You can walk down the street at 2 o'clock in the morning and people don't bother you. And so, yeah, sure, there are actually men and women who are married to foreigners who never even thought of moving to that country. So yeah, there's a misconception because people would ask me all the time, when you guys move into America? She wants to live in America, right? I'm like, actually, she doesn't. She has a fantastic career here in Japan. And I love living in Japan, so I don't see us moving to America anytime soon. Now, there are some annoyances. You've heard the traffic through this video, and in ex-Japtors videos, you hear the crows often. Sometimes you hear them in my videos too. What they say is when you go out in public to film, the public shows up. So I've had videos where I'm doing the perfect take. I've delivered the perfect line and somebody walks right in front of my camera, or they walk right behind me and look at the camera. What are you doing? I was also at a festival. It was a beautiful, amazing festival at this temple, Zojoji. It was a New Year festival, and they were doing this dance. And I pulled out my camera to film and set it up on a tripod, and I've got the perfect shot. And when I got home and watched the video, I realized the two ladies next to me were narrating the whole dance. Oh, look how she moves her hands. Oh, look at the angle she's holding her hands. Oh, look at the colors on her kimono. And they were narrating the whole thing, and it kind of ruined it for me because I didn't want to film with a narration. So being in places where, Japan can get crowded. When I say Japan, I mean Tokyo. So everywhere you go in Japan, there are people. Now, this is interesting. I'm walking along the Nogawa. Never walked along this before, but walking in a residential neighborhood, and the street is so small here. You could get a bicycle in here. Actually, there's a car there. I can't believe somebody can get a car down this street. It's so narrow. Look at this street. The street behind me. That's crazy. Somebody actually parked their car here. Maybe they came from the other direction, but yeah, it's always crowded. I first started out trying to make videos where it was just me because I wanted to, respect people's privacy and all that. And I try to keep people out of my videos, but every once in a while they walk right in front of the camera or walk behind me and stare at the camera. And sometimes I don't notice that till I get home because I'm so focused on trying to deliver my lines correctly. But there are always people, and as far as children, you don't want to film children. So every once in a while I'll have the perfect shot and a kid walks right up in front of the camera, and I gotta just scrap that, delete it, or just don't take it. So yeah, there are people everywhere. And I think people are so kind of not jaded on tourism, but they're so used to it that when they see somebody setting up to take a picture of their friends, they don't even think twice. They walk right in front of the camera. When you're in a smaller town, especially in the US, you see somebody say, 1, 2, 3, cheese. You don't walk in front of the camera person, right? The person with the camera. Here, not a big deal. You see tourists taking a picture, you'll see somebody walk right between them and the subject. And nobody even thinks they don't even think that's rude. So I just get used to it and get used to the fact that when you try to take a picture of your friend here in Japan, or take a picture of a person here in Japan, don't get too far away from your subject, because almost guaranteed somebody will walk between you and the camera, or you and the subject. I don't know if you heard that. Hey, there's a crow. Hey, I feel like I'm in the next chapter video now. I have had other times where I'm trying to film something and there's construction going on. Now I don't even do any noise reduction. I don't even care anymore, because part of this is showing what it's like to be in Japan. I want people to see what it's really like, right? I don't want to give a fake or sanitized version of Japan. I want to show you the real Japan. And there's always the pace. So this is not even about filming. It's just about getting around in Tokyo. The pace is frenetic sometimes. The pace, it seems like there's a big rush to get there first, almost inevitably. So just the other day, I was getting on the escalator and somebody rushed in front of me, jumped on the escalator, and just stopped. Now, see, I walk up the escalator. So I thought, well, that was kind of weird. You put all this effort into getting in front of me just to stop. I've seen other times where, I guess it's so crowded that people don't really put a lot of thought into the people around them. Am I getting in somebody's way? Have I cut somebody off? I don't drive, so I can't really talk about traffic, but as far as foot traffic, sure, there's some annoyances. So one day I was walking down the street and somebody on a bicycle came to a screeching halt right in front of me, and they were perpendicular to me. And I was going to walk across the street. My light was green, their light was red. But she came to a screeching halt in front of me, and I was like, did you even realize there's a person walking here, you know? Yeah, sometimes I feel like people are kind of clueless. I don't think it's malicious. I think sometimes they're just so wrapped up in their own world. They're so focused on what they're thinking and what they're doing, where they're going. So, but you'll find in a big city like Tokyo, you're always having to dodge people. And a big thing is cell phone zombies. I don't have a lot of patience for cell phone zombies. A lot of people walk around with their face stuck in their phone and they don't look where they're going. Just the other day I was walking back from the gym, and thankfully I had such a good workout, I was really chill. Walking back from the gym, and there's this kid with his face in his phone, and he's kind of meandering, going, all, like this down the sidewalk. And I'm trying to avoid him. And he gets about a foot away from me, and he jumped out of his skin. I was like, if you just look where you're going, it's not that hard. Just put the phone away while you're walking down the street. Check it at home, or, get to school and check it. But it's a thing. I'm pretty sure it happens in other countries too, other big cities. I don't think that's unique to Japan, but cell phone zombies here are an issue. So that's an annoyance. Is it enough? Are these annoyances the pace, the people getting away, the motorcycle who could have gone behind me had to go in front of me and then turn just now and got the noise of the motorcycle in the background of this video? Are things like that enough to make me not want to move to Japan? Absolutely not. So there's that. But there's also the bureaucracy. Sure, you have to get a lot of forms filled out. Getting an apartment can be difficult. And I tell people this all the time, and I don't know why nobody follows this advice. Maybe I should sell it, and then people would listen. I went to a realtor, and the first thing I said is, show me only places that will rent to a foreigner. And he's like, okay. He showed me 3 places, and like the first weekend, I chose a place. And I put in the application, and I got accepted, and it was totally injury-free. I see all these stories on social media, like I try to rent this apartment, they won't rent to foreigners. I'm like, well, just ask your realtor to show you only places that will rent to foreigners. I mean, it's not that hard. Like I said, I should start selling this advice because I've given it out for free and I can't get people to listen. So be that as it may, right? But healthcare can be an issue in Japan if you don't speak Japanese. I've got books, not a phone book, it's like a healthcare guide for Japan from the city office. And it has a little mark there for the different doctors who speak English. And I thought, I can speak Japanese, but when it really comes down to it, I want somebody who can communicate with me in English, especially if I have some weird syndrome or disease. I don't want them to be able to explain it in English. It's just a comfort thing, right? So went to the doctor who explicitly said they have English speakers, and he's like, oh, we don't speak English. And he just started speaking Japanese. I was like, you advertise that you speak English here. And nope, nobody's speaking English here. And I guess there are telephone lines for interpreters where you can get like an interpreter for the doctor's office. I guess those exist. I've never used it. I always, end up finding my way to do things. And fortunately, I'm pretty healthy, so I haven't had that many issues. I did have hernia surgery a couple years ago. I was able to get through that. And I'm still here, so I guess it worked. And it was very cheap. I went in, paid the bill, and I said, are you sure this is it? And they're like, yep, that's it. You're done. See you later. Or no, not even see you later. It's like, you're done. However, insurance is not that cheap. It's based on your income. So one time I went in to pay my health insurance. So you can either pay it through your paycheck, or one time I was working as a consultant, getting paid as a contractor. And so I got a bill from the city office for my insurance, and I went into the 7-Eleven to pay it. And the guy behind the counter looked at that and he goes, oh, is that for the year? I said, no, that's for a month. He's like, Majiska, meaning like, you're kidding me. Like, yeah, that's per month. Why? And he's like, he didn't really say, but I was guessing because I looked on the door how much they pay per hour. I'm thinking, and this is going to sound weird, but like, I think that's how much some of these part-time workers make per month. But that's how much I had to pay because it's based on your income. But it can get expensive. Taxes can get expensive. The aging population in Japan, right? keeps aging, and there are fewer young people, which means that the younger people are carrying the tax burden for the older people who require more health care. So the younger people, I still count myself as younger, we're basically subsidizing the health care for the elderly who require more health care. And also they're living longer, and advancements are, they're so good that health care is getting expensive. So insurance and taxes are getting expensive. But is that enough of an annoyance to make me want to not live in Japan? Definitely not. So what would I tell my younger self? If I met myself back in 1990, what would I tell my younger self? I would say, dude, go for it.